Hello, everybody. How is Sunday treating you? How is it at in your part of the world? It's rather pleasant here in Delhi NCR. It's been raining, and anyways, it's now time for some good vibes with good times. And I'm all set to invite my guest. She needs no introduction. I met her. I mean, I can give you my little story. I first met her when she was crowned Miss Universe, and she made for such engaging conversation then until now. So, well, we are all set to welcome Lara Dutta Bhupathi. Hi,
Hi.
how are you? We meet again.
Yes, I've been
I'm
looking
not
forward to
finding
it.
voice. Pardon?
I said I've been looking forward to it.
Likewise. As I was telling everybody, I first met you when you were crowned Miss Universe for that interview, news interview we had to do. And since
Yes,
then, I've always enjoyed talking to you.
thank
And
you.
now I finally watched the episodes. So, what struck me was earlier when you spoke about how you were brought up, three daughters, and, when we all spoke about gender equality, how your father instilled in you all that you are independent. And then I see Soumya Shukla. She's also a woman fighting to break against the glass ceiling, but also she has her own identity. So did that resonate with you?
On many fronts, yes, it did. I mean, I grew up as an Air Force brat with my father in uniform, and then my sister followed suit. So, in fact, for me, my sister was a big reference point while doing this as well. She was the first batch of women helicopter pilots in the Indian Air Force, so the first batch of women officers. And so I saw what she kind of went through in the workspace, just being a woman trying to fit into a very much what was a man's world at that point of time. So those were references that I definitely drew on, realizing how my sister Cheryl, even mentally, the kind of strength that she had to have in order to hold on to some sort of femininity that was a natural part of your DNA, and not completely lose that, but at the same time sort of, blend in so that femininity wouldn't be misconstrued as weakness. And then of course the prep with meeting the fellow police officers that I met while I was prepping 400 just made all the difference, and just observing their lives, observing the way that they were with their subordinates, the way that they gave out commands, the way that they wielded authority. So to bring all of that into Soumya, like you'll see if you've seen the show, there's a lot of times that in all normal circumstances, a woman would just want to turn around and tell somebody to get the hell out of their face, which she can't because she can't be insubordinate to a senior officer. So it's literally where you have to bite your tongue and hold it in for that moment of time, but at the same time, you don't let the system beat you down.
Which is true. And that's what struck me too, because when she's asked to attend those, little events and those family welfare things, while she'd rather be on the run and nab those, criminals.
Exactly.
But then again, she looks a certain way. She's called the department key item girl just because she looks a certain way.
Yes.
Do you also still feel women sometimes are not taken seriously about the way they look? You could be beautiful, but you also have brains. I mean, come on.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I won Miss Universe when I was just 21 years old, and I learned very quickly in life that people over the world, so it's not just limited to India itself, people are very happy when they know that a Miss Universe or a Miss World is walking through the door. They're very ready to see a beautiful woman walking through the door, but not necessarily an intelligent one. So you kind of catch them off guard if you happen to have any kind of ratio of the two of them in equal measure, so it's just, I faced that, like I said, when I was quite young, and I learned to use humor to see it through. You don't take yourself too seriously, and you don't hold, you don't hold a chip on your shoulder saying, oh my God, this is something that I have to fight against. It's something you have to navigate. You do it in the best way that you can with as much aplomb as you can.
And you also chose to join an industry that reeks of patriarchy. There are girls who are now standing up. You girls also made a difference. But it would have been tougher then than it's now.
Yeah, but Pooja, I don't know. I mean, I'm very much a woman's woman, and I've interacted with a lot of career working women in my lifetime. And I don't think that that's limited just to only the Hindi film industry. I think
It's
women
everywhere.
across the board, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Police force, we see it in your show.
Exactly. So it's everywhere. And I think even in journalism, it's just we have to work twice as or three times as hard in order to be taken seriously, or to be given those promotions, or to be given those, pieces to cover, or, projects to do, to showcase talent. far more than our male counterparts. But I don't believe, or I don't consider myself a feminist, or, you know, I don't consider myself somebody. It's just you quietly get on with what you're supposed to do. And, you know, somewhere down the line, you impact a thought process, you influence it. And like you rightly said, over the years, so much has changed, even in the Hindi film industry. I mean, I always say in 2011, when I produced Chalo Dilli and Chalo Dilli released, which was my first film as a producer, there were no other actresses, commercial mainstream actresses, who were producing at that point of time. Today, that's changed with Anushka producing, Deepika producing, so many more girls producing their films, you know. So slowly but surely, women will impact that change within the industries that they function in. It's just that we need to find a voice that's loud enough and have enough of those voices join us.
I so agree. I think there's something about the Bangalore girls, right? Lara, Dutta, Anushka Sharma, Deepika.
Possibly. I think Bangalore allows you a little bit more leeway to be just a little bit more outspoken.
Also, talking about 100, you know, it's lately on the digital platform, we are seeing a lot of content, you know, with strong roles for women. What was it about 100 that made you say yes? And I mean, after a very long time, you decided to grace us with your debut on the digital platform, you know?
Well, I think for me, the first big draw obviously was that, you know, more than actually thinking consciously about wanting to enter into the digital space, for the longest time ever now, I've been saying that I really want to be directed by a woman. You know, so, I mean, I've had the great fortune in my career to be directed by some of the best, you know, directors that are in the business. But I think that for me, it was really, really important to experience what it would be like to have a woman directing me. And so when Ruchi reached out with 100, it really came out of the blue, you know. And so first off, it was the fact that, you know, Ruchi was directing. Secondly, of course, for those who have seen the show and for those who haven't, I mean, Soumya Shukla is like one of the most flawed, you know, badass, sarcastic, multi-layered characters that I've ever sort of portrayed on screen. You know, so obviously the character was a big draw. Secondary to that was the fact that she was a policewoman, and I'd never, you know, portrayed a police officer on screen before. And then, of course, the story in itself. I thought for me, the concept or the idea of teaming up with an actor like Rinku Rajguru, who's so completely different to both of us, are from totally different, you know, film mediums. We are different generations apart. Completely different styles to our acting. I thought that that would be a really interesting mix to have for people to see coming together on screen. And I love the story. It's, you know, it's fast-paced. There's a lot going on. The characters are complex. The relationships are complex. And yeah, I just felt that if I had to make a digital debut, then what better sort of vehicle than this?
It's not a Thelma Louise, but it's also kind of, you know, back in the day, it's kind of.
Well, I was joking and I was saying, well, was Netra and Soumya are going to be the new Jai Viru?
Oh, I know, absolutely. And it's nice to see these movies of girl bonding, like women. Like, we don't need anybody, we can do it, solve our problems ourselves.
Yeah.
But what I liked about Soumya also, she is an officer. She also has her family. I mean, she says it to her mother-in-law that I do not want to take your crap. But I'm not going to divulge much of the story, but she also has another life. So was that also exciting?
It was
comfortable.
No, it definitely was. And, you know, I find for me, I think, which honestly, like in many ways, a lot of the characteristics of Soumya were possibly some sort of latent, hidden, you know, desires of the woman that I wish that I could be, who was totally, you know, completely, I don't give a shit, and this is the way that I want to live it. So, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to really live life on my terms, and I've had, you know, the family and the support system that's allowed me to do that. But, you know, Soumya is unapologetically ambitious. She is just, I mean, she knows exactly what she wants to go after. She knows her relationship. She thrives on, you know, making situations really complex. And I was saying this to somebody else the other day. I've spent all my life simplifying my life so I can just deal with it. Soumya, the more complex the situation is, the more she thrives in it. So yeah, so I think, you know, there are certain aspects that I wish that for me, it was amazing to play her on screen for 3 months. It's like throw caution to the winds and live out everything that you know, sort of wanted to do. And I love the fact that she's got the husband there. They have their own equation there. It's not like she's not in love or she's fallen out of love, but it's a complex, you know, relationship. she's pretty much competing back at home as well because of him being a police officer as well. You know, the feeling that he doesn't maybe, she doesn't know whether she really wants him to stand up for her or the fact that he doesn't stand up for her, you know. So it's all of that dynamic as well. The relationship with Maddie, which is on her terms, possibly the only thing that she actually has in her life that's absolutely just the way she wants it to be, you know. So it was complex and fun.
So, you know, your performance is being described by critics as subtle and sedate.
Yeah.
And now hope to see you more often. Now somebody's asked, what next after this?
So I mean, I have already signed something, which is also another digital show. I won't talk about it right now because obviously this is the big thing that's out right now. We want people to go watch it. So I have signed something else. It's chalk and cheese. It's completely opposite to what I've done on screen with Soumya. And but I honestly, I think I'm not in a hurry to sign on a whole bunch of things. And, you know, it has to be something that's really worth it. And plus, it takes me away from my daughter, who's just 8 years old, you know, so it has to really be, like I said, it has to be something that's really adding value right now.
Awesome. And, this is a question somebody asked me to ask you was, sometimes when you've been in the business and we see your pictures, and a lot of moms feel it might be easy for them, but it's actually the same, managing your personal life, mother, being a mom, and home. What is it like?
Well, for me, I think it's quite challenging, Pooja, which is also why a lot of people say, we don't see you enough on screen. But I mean, I'm not just an actor. I'm also a producer. I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm also a mom. And, Mahesh and I have, the two of us are pretty much flying solo, as in we don't live in a joint family system. So we don't have our parents who step in to, manage the back end of things. So everything has to pretty much be done by us. And both Mahesh and I, we have a deal in life that at any given point of time, one of us will always be present with our daughter. So she will always have one parent constant. So in fact, when I stepped out to do 100, and I was filming for those 3 or 4 months, Mahesh was completely holding down the fort at home. And he's a very, very hands-on dad. And I think we've been able to find that balance with Saira as well, where she understands that both parents are working parents. We both have a career that we enjoy and we love. I don't want to give up what I do because it brings me so much satisfaction and so much joy. And obviously, neither does he. And so it's finding a balance within all of that. Yet at the same time, there is nothing that's more of a priority to both of us in our life than our daughter. So it's about striking a balance in every which way. I launched Arise, my skincare range last year, which really has done really well for us. So I spent a year building up that business. We're also producing things. So we've got a couple of projects that have international tie-ins. And I'm pretty hands-on with all of that stuff as well. So everything takes time, and you need to weigh your priorities in life and, do things that at the end of the day make you happy and just add that value to life.
That's so important now also to hear, because everybody seems to be in a rush.
Yeah,
nobody wants to rest. Everything is instant.
I've been in the business for 25 years. I started my modeling career before I won Miss India or Miss Universe or anything when I was 16 years old. And I think I've earned the luxury of just being able to do things at my pace.
Awesome. And Saira, is she more sporty inclined, or she enjoys watching what Mama does?
Well, she's only 8. So, I mean, she plays tennis almost 4 or 5 times a week with her dad, and she has her coach as well. So obviously she's got that in her genes. But I think her default setting is more on mom. So she loves to sing and dance and the works. So at this point of time, it's just giving her, a well-rounded childhood, and whatever she chooses to do will be her choice.
And what's stopping her? She can do both.
Of course. That's what we keep telling her.
So the lockdown phase, what's it like? How's it going with all of you? I mean, who's cooking, who's cleaning?
All I'm telling Mahesh is he needs to be really, really, really grateful. The one thing that he needs to be grateful for during this lockdown is that our cook is actually our live-in cook. So that's covered. So, yeah, I don't think he would have survived these 4 weeks if his wife was cooking for him. No chance. But both of us are actually pretty, we're homebodies. So this lockdown isn't very, very much different for us. It's just that, of course, now we're in each other's face 24/7. But it hasn't been actually too bad. I mean, of course, and both of us, he's been busy on the business front of things, and I've been busy because we were always launching 100 at this time. So we've been working towards it. And with the lockdown, it was even harder because all the post-production actually happened with everybody sitting at home and then working online. So it was quite challenging to bring out the show on time. But I've gone back to studying, so I'm doing a couple of courses online. So studying and
Like what? Like what? That's interesting.
I signed up to 2 courses actually from the Harvard Online Institute, and I'm studying ancient Egypt and the pyramids of Giza. And I'm studying the influence of Christianity on colonialism and the economic impact of, so quite some.
So you're a history geek, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
So any movie you would want to make on a period in history?
Oh God! I think period films. I've been part of. I mean, last year I was part of Beecham House, which was a period, television series that was directed by Gurinder Chadha, and I know how tedious and exhausting it is to make period pieces. So no, none of the things that are on the anvil at the moment have anything to do with any kind of period of time. But I'm always fascinated, and I love studying. So.
Wow, that's so interesting. And also, anything, if you're watching, any recommendations you can give? I mean, everybody's asking each other for recommendations.
Well, all I'm saying is I think I'm so fortunate and really blessed to be an actor. And I'm really happy that this is the opportunity we've got when everybody's sitting at home and are so frustrated going through this lockdown that as an actor, we're able to bring them some sort of entertainment. So at this point of time, all I'm going to say to everybody who's watching is please go watch 100, which is out already. It's streaming already on the Hotstar, Disney Hotstar. So, and I promise you, quite the ride of your life with Netra and Soumya.
I so agree with that. And also another thing, Lara, when you made your debut and when Miss Universe happened, there was no social media. There was no Instagram, there was no Twitter. Now, do you think that was better or do you think this is better?
When I won Miss Universe, no, I think that was better because I say this to the girls who are going in now to represent India as well. You know that in a way, the contest is over before it's even begun. Because of social media. There's so much of influencing that takes place. And, the girls feel a lot of pressure to already have achieved something before they actually get an opportunity to do so. So they're already supposed to be mini stars before they even get to Miss Universe to participate. So I don't feel the playing field is even anymore. And today, before a contestant goes in or before a candidate goes in, everybody's already looking to see the amount of social media followers they have. And, that kind of determines their popularity or determines their worthiness much more than what they really are. So nobody really gets a chance to know who these wonderful young women really are before already forming, an opinion about them in their heads. So I am so happy that it didn't exist during our time. It just gave us a chance to be ourselves and let the world see us for who we were.
And same goes for acting also, because I see that a lot of stress these youngsters have on their posting the gym looks, airport looks, what they've eaten, their hair, which we don't seem to do at all.
As you can see with me, I genuinely don't have any gym looks or any. I'm just happy if I can get myself to the gym in the day and get my workout done. So the last thing on my mind is what am I wearing to get it done? I mean, it kind of creates a lot of pressure. On the same time, it's a lot of fun. It gives you a chance, I feel, to really interact with a lot of your fans on a personal level. It also helps you, kind of skirt a lot of fake news that comes out there because so much of it is generated, so it gives you a chance to just clear the air, create a relationship, a direct relationship with your fan base. So that way, it's pretty good. For me, the whole pressure of, constantly looking camera ready just doesn't work.
And as we're talking, a lot of love coming from your fans. Somebody said hello from Germany. Somebody's watched 2 episodes, has loved it. Lots of hello. Good to see you after a long time. So yeah, what do you want to say to all of those people who are just loving the fact that you are here chatting with us?
No, I'm extremely grateful. I really am. And I thank them all for the support and love. And I'm not an actor who's constantly visible. So I know that the fan base that I have is truly a genuine fan base because they've stuck it out with me. They've stuck through through all of it with me. And I know when they say we haven't seen you in a long time, we really want to see you on screen. It just makes me feel really good to know that, over the years, everything that you've put into your career, for me, for over 15, 16 years, it's the fans that make it worthwhile, and the people who've been there with you through it all, who still expect and who push you. I have so many people saying, you have so much potential. Why don't we see it on screen? Why aren't you doing things? And I really, really appreciate that. I thank them for all the support and the push that they give me.
And lastly, somebody's asked a very relevant question. Being an accomplished woman in all aspects, businesswoman, actor, mother, wife, does it put pressure in a society like this?
I think, being all of it doesn't put the pressure. It's expecting yourself to be perfect at all of it. I think that's what really messes you up. So quite early in my life, I really realized not to take myself or anybody else too seriously and to cut myself some slack, so you're not going to be able to be perfect at everything all the time. And as long as you realize that you're doing the best you can, and I think for me, the most important thing is that my immediate family is happy and healthy. They're level-headed. We're all pretty grounded. I think I'm doing an okay job. As long as that's in place, everything else will fall into place on its own.
So agree. Thank you so very much. And I've used your products. I can say
Yay!
the night serum is awesome.
Super. Also, please use our sunscreen. It is the best sunscreen available in the Indian market. I'm not saying it because it's mine. Trust me. I've used every product in these as many years that I've been in the business, and there's nothing like the Arise sunscreen on the market.
Cool. Once the lockdown is over and we can go out, I'm going to pick that up. Thank you so much. More power to you. Always
Thank you.
A pleasure to speak to you. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.